Alrighty, so Bill Burr is in the news, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Burr, the famous bastard comedian from Boston. I don't know if he's a bastard, but it rhymes, so I'm going with it. Bill Burr got a lot of attention here when a bunch of journalists came up to him at a red carpet event, it looks like here, and was asking him about Luigi Mangione, asking about, controversial news topics that Bill Burr over the years has deeply expressed. We know that obviously he's on the side of the Luigi thing. He's on the side of, understanding that the billionaire class are a bunch of vultures and how the system doesn't favor a lot of the working class. So he's been very vocal about this. And when journalists came up to him and asked him about these conversations and these topics, Bill Burr had a very interesting kind of clapback towards the journalists here. So there's a combat here. As Bill Burr refuses the media bait, calls you journalists need to get your balls back. So here's what he said.
Tell us about your reaction to Luigi Mangione. I was reading up, that perhaps you've been supportive of what he did. What is your take on that?
If you were reading up, I don't think you read up on it. Because I said what I felt about it, and I said what a lot of people said.
Some people took it that way. So could you clarify what you think?
No, I'm not going to just have some controversial moments so you can get clicks. I'm not doing that. I'm here for Conan. I'm not doing all of this. What are you going to bring up next? The Middle East? I went to summer school 3 out of 4 years in high school. I'm not qualified to talk about this.
I was just
What do you think about global warming?
You said about Elon that he was ruining Earth, I saw on The View. You're critical of him. What do you think of all the boycotts, like even the violence
I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. I have no idea what's going on. I watch Instagram. I watch people wipe out on motorcycles. I watch lions and hyenas fight each other. This is the things that I do. And I don't think you should be asking a comedian. You're a journalist.
Comedians are on top of current events.
No. That's weak. That's you guys passing the buck. You guys need to have balls again, which you don't. You guys always goes, should we be thinking this? Duh. You guys present stuff like that. You guys used to have balls. You need to get your balls back. And it's not my job. I am a dancing clown.
All right. He is a dancing clown, as he proclaims. Well, here's what's very interesting about this. Because I had to honestly put both of them to shame. Because while I understand that Bill Burr does have the point that journalists should not be walking up to a red carpet and obviously asking very vague questions about things in the news, and if you are a respected journalist, you have the integrity, you have the ethics, you have the oath to actually follow through on your stories, follow through on things, which obviously in today's world of corporate journalism, they don't do that, which can't even really refer to them as journalists. They're basically talking heads. I understand that. But at the same time, Bill Burr, this is not Jerry Seinfeld. Bill Burr has spent years, has done a lot of stand-up comedy, has made very, very astute jokes about controversial news stories. So he's very topical on things. And for him to just say, well, I'm a dancing clown, doesn't excuse him from the fact that you are very up on the news. You are controversial on big stories and have different opinions. And yes, you could be saying things about Luigi Mangione. You could be saying things, even if you're on a red carpet. Hearing that excuse, it kind of reminds me of when Jon Stewart was interviewed by Bill O'Reilly. And obviously Jon Stewart hosting The Daily Show, yes, he's going to know about the news. He follows the news. He's going to be very, very much very news savvy when it comes to his comedy. But when Bill O'Reilly, when he was on Fox News, interviewed Jon Stewart, his defense, his kind of shtick was to say that, oh, well, my show is on Comedy Central and follows cranky anchors. So I don't have to, I'm just a dancing monkey. I don't have to explain my position to you. It's kind of just a cop-out. It really is a cop-out for these people. But here's Bill Burr just recently, back December 9th of 2024, comedian Bill Burr on why the media ignores the CEO killer's vast public support. So he says this regularly on his podcast. So for him to just say he's a dancing clown and he's, stricken away from talking about news subjects, why do you keep mentioning this on your podcast? Why do you keep bringing this to attention? So here's what Bill Burr said about the media's portrayal of Luigi Mangione and why he feels so strongly about this case.
You know what's annoying me about this kid who killed this CEO is none of these news programs are talking about the incredible lack of empathy from the general public about this because of how these insurance companies treat people when they're at their most vulnerable, after we've all given them our money every fucking month and now we finally need you and all you do is deny us. And then these pussies and all of these things are taking the pictures of their CEOs off their websites. You know, I got to be honest with you, okay? I love that fucking CEOs are fucking afraid right now. You should be. By and large, you're all a bunch of selfish, greedy fucking pieces of shit. And a lot of you are mass murderers. You just don't pull the trigger. That's why it looks clean. That's why these people look, oh my God, oh, he was just, walking into a hotel. It's like, okay, but what was his job? What did he do? What was the results of it?
That was him explaining his position on Luigi Mangione and referring to the media not understanding the situation. And here, I agree with that statement, but that doesn't excuse you when someone asks you on the red carpet by saying that, oh, you're just a dancing monkey. Because obviously you've been very, very, very vocal about this. So obviously you have a lot to say on the subject matter. You're not just the idiot clown that is just making jokes. You're very topical on certain issues. So yes, journalists are going to say about that. And I do agree that the journalists there could have done a bit more research on the subject matter, but you could also be there to explain that position. You could explain to exactly what you said in this podcast. You could explain to that woman on the Luigi Mangione situation. But he refused to do so. He copped out on it. So here's another example. Bill Burr, these effing billionaires need to be put down like rabid dogs. He said this on his podcast. So when that other journalist mentioned about Elon Musk, again, it's not that Bill Burr is stupid. It's not Bill Burr knows nothing about the subject matter. Bill Burr knows a lot about it and could easily debunk that journalist down and actually prove his statement correct, but he's just copying out to do so. So here's Bill Burr on this podcast here.
The amount of people that are struggling out there because of these fucking billionaires, and they got us all arguing liberal and conservative. We got to stop doing that. Like, I am so tired of hearing about people going to bed worried about what's going to happen next week. There is so much fucking money in this country. And there's so much work being done, And if you work a full fucking week at a job, you should be able to pay your fucking rent. You shouldn't have to go out and get another fucking job and still be struggling. It's bad for the country. Because then the kids don't see their parents and they're not getting the upbringing that they need. It's so fucking... These fucking billionaires, they need to be put down. Like fucking rabid dogs. They're like rabid with fucking greed and just going out and just dividing everybody.
Well, it sounds like someone that is a bit knowledgeable in the subject matter. Now, I'm not endorsing, the killing of billionaires. I'm not endorsing that. But Bill Burr saying that he's just a dancing clown is obviously a cop-out. Because Bill Burr is very knowledgeable on this subject matter. He's very knowledgeable on certain situations. He knows exactly why he made those positions. He's not just doing it for clout or for clickbait. He knows that he's looked into things. He knows why he has a position. And rather than just demonstrating that to the journalists and explaining his detail, he's trying to weasel his way out of it. And it just seems cowardly on his half. So Bill Burr calls Ben Shapiro a jerk off for calling him woke after anti-billionaire comments. So he went after Ben Shapiro because Ben Shapiro is defending the billionaire, defending what was this guy named Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Health. Ben Shapiro defended him and was calling out people, and even his own audience was going after Ben Shapiro. And Bill Burr called out Ben Shapiro, saying that he's an idiot. He's a jerk off because apparently Bill Burr is woke because he understands that 99.9% of working class people don't want to deal with health insurance. They know that the privatization of healthcare is not helping people whatsoever, and it's literally just a relief for the top 1% that didn't care about our health to begin with. You know, there's so much poison in our food, and then they privatize our healthcare. It's almost like they just don't give a damn about our lives at all. But no one really wants to point that out. So, here, Tim Pool, Beanie Hat Tim Pool, is going after Bill Burr. Tim Pool says he's dangerously stupid for advocating for murder and violence without understanding how the world operates. Bill Burr isn't being edgy with well-researched takes. He's just placating to the leftist orthodoxy. So, Tim Pool is going to slam down on Bill Burr for backing Luigi Mangione, even though Bill Burr definitely has some insight to this, is definitely not stupid on this. He's definitely not just doing it for clickbaits and clout. He's actually well informed on the subject matter, and he's a working class person from Boston. His material is definitely geared towards, blue collar. And Tim Pool is going to slam Bill Burr in support of the private healthcare industry. The private healthcare industry that is destroying the lives of people. So listen to this.
These videos, that video of that woman, that's a random woman. Mm-hmm. Every day, I got somebody here at Timcast posting in our internal chat or sending to me and being like, look at this. And it's some random nobody on TikTok saying to go and engage in this action. So that woman needs to be arrested and perp walked. And Cash and Pam need to hold a press conference as they do and say, if you do this, we will arrest you. Every single one. Because the issue is, it is a social orthodoxy. These people, many of them, are not doing it because they know Bill Burr is as dumb as a box of rocks. And I'm sad to say that because I didn't want to offend rocks. But Bill Burr is very stupid. He's a very stupid man, okay? He's funny. He has some of the best presentation in comedy. But he is dangerously stupid in advocating for murder and violence without understanding how the world operates. He's not doing it because he genuinely feels in his heart of hearts, based on research and strong, well-put thought. He's doing it because everyone around him is just going, bark, 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 and he's balking along with them. You stop.
So, Bill Burr, who goes out on tours, meets with people all around America, all of his tours, all of his stand-up he's been doing for years, meeting with people, going to comedy clubs, going to blue-collar, venues all across America, and talking to people, and hearing people about their health situation and how dealing with the healthcare industry. Is it enough for him to say that maybe Luigi Mangione has a point, according to Tim Pool? Well, I'm guessing in his tirade here, someone like Jimmy Dore or myself or Kim Iverson or Glenn Greenwald or anybody else who's looked into this and has reported on Luigi Mangione and reporting on the deterioration of healthcare, the fact that Americans pay the highest in healthcare but get the worst outcomes purposely done by the privatization because large conglomerates of these corporations, these monopolies, never gave a damn about your health whatsoever. These are the same people that also lobby to put chemical poisons into your food. Do you think they really gave a damn about your health to begin with? Do you think private insurance gives a shit about whether you need leg surgery, whether your stomach needs to be taken out, whether you need open heart surgery? Do you think they give a damn about anyone? So it's so incredible. Tim Pool, beanie hat Tim Pool, who seems more and more. I don't want to use the term. I don't want to use the term psyop, but definitely edging towards being a asset for, deep state CIA kind of crap. But for him to just go like, oh, Bill Burr is funny, but he's a complete moron. Because God forbid he goes around and talks to people and he just repeats things that people have told him over the years about how healthcare is awful. It's almost like he's a comedian for blue-collar people. And like this sounds like the whiny brat that's like, shut up and play. Shut up and play the music. And not understanding where Bill Burr is coming from on this. Obviously, Bill Burr is not screwing this just for whatever. Because for someone in his position to be on the side of working class people, to be on the side against the billionaire class is dangerous. It's dangerous to be that. That's why so many comedians are afraid to even touch that subject matter. But Bill Burr, being the stand-up he is, being the comic that he is willing to go forward with it. So here's him on Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show. And again, Bill Burr going after the billionaire class that endorses comedy, brings up a lot of comedians, gave them their careers. He's going to tell it as is. Right in front of the billionaire back show, the Tonight Show, which is a failure because the billionaire class fails to connect with its audience. And Bill Burr is just going to slam right through it, going to break down that fourth wall to tell you that people at the top don't give a damn about you. This.
It's a positive time, Jimmy.
Yeah, it really is.
Billionaires are not happy having $1 billion. Why does Elon Musk dress like he just... All right, thank you. Why does Elon Musk dress like he just got out of a Hot Topic? I am so sick of that guy trying to rewrite his origin story like he was Matthew McConaughey pulling into the high school. It's like you were a nerd, nobody banged you, and now you have hair plugs in your laminated face. No, and everybody is afraid of these nerds. I don't get it. My whole life, feminists were focusing on frat boys and guys with their hats on backwards, and they left the nerds alone. And now look at them. They got people wearing adult diapers, driving 18-wheelers, trying to get Crocs to the box store on time. They're horrible, heartless people. And then for some reason, if you say that, you're like a communist, and then we're in bed with the Russians. I don't get any of it. None of it makes sense. And then they try to politicize everything you say, and it's just like, I don't know, shouldn't you pay your workers? Yeah. Don't you remember that? Yes. When we were growing up? Yes. 1 week's pay paid your rent. You had a little cottage, little boat, you know?
Yes.
Maybe a second family down the road. That's what you did. That's what you did. You had the money. had the money.
So cute.
See, the first part I was being nice, talking about Glengarry,
Yeah.
and now I'm being meek.
Yep, sounds like the dummy he is, pointing out that back in the day, people were able to have a one-income family, have a roof over their heads, raise a family, put food on the table, and maybe even had some extra money to, I don't know, have a cottage, go on vacation, on one income. And now here we are in 2025 where people have multiple jobs and they can barely get food on the table. They can barely put a roof over their heads. They're in bankruptcy mode because if they get sick, God forbid, if something happens to them, they get sick, there goes all their life savings to pay for a medical emergency. You know that over half of the country, over half of America is don't have enough money for a $400 emergency. If something happens to them, they're done. They're toast. They're finished. So Bill Burr has a lot of expertise in this because he's a comic and meets with this population of blue-collar workers that actually understand. Compared to Tim Pool, compared to Ben Shapiro, who go to their podcast studio, that I'm sure is funded back by whoever, and is propping up more of the same old established status quo because, I don't know, they're hoping for clickbait. They're hoping for another investor. I don't know what they're doing here. But for you to slam down on Bill Burr, and obviously it's not working because he's still one of the hottest comics out there, but for you to slam down Bill Burr, saying that he's a knucklehead and knows nothing, is ridiculous. And even Bill Burr slamming down on himself. Like, talk about a self-owner there, popping out by saying, oh, I'm just a clown that knows nothing. I went to summer school 4 times. Don't put yourself down, Bill. Don't put yourself down. Because obviously you're knowledgeable about this. You know something's up. You're very, very profound and vocal on these topics. You're very topical when it comes to, serious situations like this. Let it be known. Just let it be known. That's all it takes. Just let it be known. Let people be aware of the situation. And here, even going back further, this is a younger Bill Burr. I don't know when exactly this was taken. But Bill Burr has always said, F the billionaires and corporations. Don't start crying now that it's your billionaire. Don't act like he's done some liberal switch up. You guys just have the literacy skills of toddlers. Exactly. Bill Burr's whole entire comic career is focused on he is the average blue-collar worker in Boston saying F you to the corporation, F you to the man, F you to the system that screwed me over. I'm just a guy that wants to get by, and I'm just going to yell it as is. That's who Bill Burr is, and that's what made him a success. That's what makes him relevant. That's what makes him funny. He's funny because he's saying the things that normally we would be saying to ourselves. And a lot of comics are afraid to do that. A lot of comics are afraid to do that because they're hoping that they kiss the ring one more time and kiss up to the establishment even further, even though they're getting screwed over by the establishment. But if they kiss it even further, they're hoping for that career break. They're hoping for maybe another stand-up bag. Maybe they're hoping for a special. Maybe they're hoping for a TV show or a movie deal. Who knows? But this has always been Bill Burr. It's always been Bill Burr. It's always been very controversial, very topical. And for all of a sudden now, people that said they loved him and enjoy his comedy to just say, oh, he's a woke idiot. He's a woke idiot because he went after Elon Musk. Oh, he's a woke idiot because, God forbid, he's defending people from heinous healthcare. That's always been his shtick. You guys notice that?